Hey, Happy New Year. This is not a holiday that we tend to celebrate. We find it's, what were we saying today? That it's usually celebrated by rich douchebags who can afford the $6,000 plus exclusive VIP New Year's Eve parties, or people who are completely out of control in their lives, which is the best reason in the world to avoid because we don't want to get shot or killed by drunk drivers. So why am I going out on New Year's Eve? Well, I gotta run some errands, and it's unavoidable. Put it off, and so now I'm doing it. Hoo-hoo. Seems like these phones have a mind of their own. They automatically switch the audio front and rear mics. For the longest time, I couldn't figure out that what they meant by front camera and front mic is actually the selfie camera, and that everything else is rear. And I always thought of it the other way, so maybe that's part of my reason for having trouble with it. But oh, look at the geese. Lots of geese everywhere. I think geese are the angriest birds around. They will attack you. And I'm using my Zhiyun Smooth Q gimbal. Is it Smooth Q? It won't properly balance with this. The phone is a bit too big and over to the right hand side to balance properly. So I go as far as it'll go, and it seems to be robust enough. I know it's probably just going to shorten the battery life, but these batteries are supposed to last forever. Matter of fact, I don't know how well this will go, because the battery on this thing hasn't been charged in quite a while. I'm surprised it's actually holding up. And I'm like, well, I'll get that Smooth Q out and give it a try, because I've been a little bit unhappy with the DJI of all things. With this phone, it seems to not be very stable, which is funny, because supposedly the iPhone 12 has great stability. You don't even need a gimbal. And I don't know if there's something wrong with my settings or the way I'm doing it, but I haven't found that to be the case. And the great thing about this app that I use is that it will record while live streaming, and it seems to be pretty good platform. I don't know what they use, but the live stream seems to look really good. And 4K. It records 1080p, I think. Yeah, 1080p. But it looks pretty good when I use this. So I'm like, okay. I always roll on a dash cam anyway. These days it's just wise. And so while using this as a dash camera, I might as well live stream everywhere I go. It's not that I'm putting out the world's most boring content, although I tell you, people have been responding to it. They like to just see the daily driving in Kansas City. There are people who want to be here, who live here, or just curious, or whatever. And so I get a few hits. I won't say many hits, but I get a few on each video that I post, and I post several a day. Because, YouTube now, you live stream and automatically saves it. So might as well. To happen to me while I'm driving, there will be evidence of exactly what happened. And it's automatically recorded basically in a cloud. So, perfect. There's a lot of companies that want you to spend a lot of money just to do that, have the right to do that, and they want you to pay monthly fees and everything else. And here all I have to use is a iPhone and YouTube and do it for free. And people seem to respond to it somewhat. I mean, it's not like the world's best content in the world. Can I say world many times? When you turn a corner, I notice G-forces tend to knock the gimbal out of whack. It's a built-in gyroscope or whatever it is that makes the gimbal stay even with horizon. Doesn't like the centrifugal force. So when you turn, it sort of goes crooked. But the better gimbals correct themselves, and I am very happy with Zhiyun. I'm very loyal to Zhiyun. I know it's a company out of China, but it doesn't even pretend to be anything else. Even the name Zhiyun says China. But they seem to build really good stuff and know what they're doing. And I noticed that Americans on really, and I single American company making gimbal products, it's all pretty much Chinese. There were a few companies, like there was one out Pilot Fly, Germany, and they claimed to be in a partnership with an American company, but when all was said and done, it was all built in China. So I'm trying to go a different way. I'm going to take the outer roads here. And like I say, New Year's is not our favorite holiday. We don't really go out and celebrate on New Year's Eve, and I don't think it's even wise to go out. Here in Kansas City, we have this phenomenon where people step out on their back porches and shoot guns in the air. And so even the police hide under overpasses at the stroke of midnight. And unfortunately, I have to be out in it. I think I'm going to be late to work tonight because let's say through midnight at home, and then go to work just a little bit late today because I don't want to be out right at midnight, which is when I go to work, that's exactly what would happen. I guess I could try and go early, but I also want to spend the moment with my family. And I don't think they will mind. It's I don't think they're gonna kill us with a lot of heavy duty stuff on New Year's shows. The audio mic and external, then whatever balance you had on the gimbal, it knocks it out. And so DJI came the closest. They had one gimbal that I have, the Zenmuse, what is it, X3, Z3, I can't remember. It was a little eyeball looking thing on a stick, and they had a microphone jack built into it, which was nice. But since then, you know, the Osmo Pocket 1, love the Pocket 1. But the Pocket 2 is even better. And the Pocket 2 adds something, which reminds me I left my Pocket 2 at home. Mine. Cool. And that got an external. Not all. It also has a built-in wireless in it, what do they call it? If you buy the creator kit, it includes the do-it-all handle, which clicks on the bottom of the camera itself and automatically detects its own microphone, and you can add a microphone, but also the microphone jack can act as a headphone jack. I mean, just tremendous. Now, if they would only create a way where you can take the video output and see it externally through either an HDMI or an SDI jack. But that's dreaming too much, and most people probably would never use it and never want it, and that's why they probably don't include it, because it's not a feature that has a high demand, would sell a lot of their gimbals. But I work with switchers, and I work in a professional environment, and I wish I had that. There is a company that builds an adapter, but they don't, you could buy it or you can build it. They give you the plans and a license if you spend like $270, and then you can use the Osmo with an external video output. But I kind of looked at the quality that some of the reviewers have shown, and I'm like, it doesn't look that great. So I don't know. If anybody has any influence over DJI, let them know. Just include an HDMI output on their gimbals, at the very least. We are traveling next to I-29 on the outer road. I'm going up here to an electronics superstore, and also first off, I'm going to stop over by an office supply store and get my auto books, because that's why I have to go out today, because I have to have them by tomorrow. I don't I don't want to start the year off without our auto logbooks. I write the mileage on my car every day. Every morning I get in, I check the mileage and I write it down in my book, and I just keep track of it. And some years I've kind of forgot and put it off until, like this year, I put it off till the last moment again. And then had to write it down in notebooks and stuff, and you just lose all that. So I just have these books I keep in the glove compartment. I use it every year. All right, there it is, Office Max. Let's see if they're even open. And then there's Bed Bath & Beyond. Actually, Bed Bath & Beyond. I come up with names for every store. Office Max is easy. Just call it Office Max. I am a branding nightmare. I take people's branding and I turn it into satire. People work really hard on their branding, and then I come along and sabotage it. Ooh, ha, ha, ha. Alrighty, I'll resume this live stream after I come out of the store. I might actually put it on my phone mount, which is what's in the way of the picture here. I always do head-in parking so I can pull out easily. To me, it's much easier to back in and then pull out later than to try and back out. Then you have impatient people behind you who try and run you down. So anyway, I'm going to end it here. Woohoo!